Welcome to this podcast brought to you by SignDesk, which is a leader in the digital contract space. So the objective of this podcast is where we're bringing together various financial institutions and the impact that they're making on the ground level. So today we're focusing on Svakarma Finance. So they specialize, there's an NBFC which specializes in lending to the MSME sector and creating a social impact on ground. So my guests today are Mr. Taposh Sen, he's the COO of Svakarma, and Ms. Archana Pawar, who's the head HR and admin with Svakarma Finance. So welcome both of you to our podcast. Really nice to have you with us here today.
Thank you, Karthik, for inviting us. It's obviously a great day that we are talking about the stories of Svakarma and sharing with you and your viewers also.
Yes.
It's a journey which was envisaged in 2017, and since then we are being here today in 7.5 years. So yeah.
Really nice to have both of you here. So you mentioned, rightly that it's a journey. So
Yes.
why don't you talk about what's the journey of Svakarma Finance been so far? What led to the vision on why you set up Svakarma Finance, and how did you identify this artisans and the informal entrepreneurs as your core consumers from a lending standpoint?
Sure. So, very, very happy to let all of you know that I'm the first employee of this organization. Wow. And I've been a part of this journey right from one employee till 250 employees today.
Wonderful.
So it's been an incredible journey for us. And Taposh, I think, just was part immediately after I had, joined. Svakarma started with a very beautiful thought. So all the co-founders, we have 4 co-founders, they all had lived their life, in a nice corporate, handling multiple positions, leadership positions in India and abroad. And after their journey, there's a phase in everyone's life when we want to give back to the society.
True.
I think that all triggered at the same time with these people. They knew each other, and the whole idea was what we can do more for the customers, what we can do, how we can create more impact in their lives. And that thought emerged, and that's how I think I would say Svakarma Finance was born. That yes, we want to have an impact for the customers. At the same time, we definitely want to do business.
Yeah.
So that's how it all came together with the thought of creating an impact. So even today, our tagline does say that impact focus NBFC. So we want to create impact in whatever we do, wherever we do, be it our employees, be it our customers, and of course our partners.
Yeah, I think that's a very noble vision that you have, which is actually to create impact on the grassroots level. So Taposh, financing these artisans, or when you're looking at the micro entrepreneurs itself, right? It comes with its own unique set of challenges also. So from various things, it could be like informal cash flows, or it could be seasonal demand. So how does Svakarma actually assess the risk and differently, from the other traditional lending players who are there in the market?
So it's a very good question, Karthik. Today only, when I was just coming office, I was just reading the Business Standard. So it was saying that almost some 73 million customers are in MSME segment in India right now. And the financial gap is approximately 7.5 trillion. Out of that, I think 2.5 trillion are in MSME segment. So there's a medium, small, micro, and major segments. So it's a very large business segment where we need to do. So the market is huge. And after Indian government, who has been now focusing more on made in India, digital India segment. So micro, small customers, this MSME customers is most important in the GDP of India's things. I think almost this MSME segment is contributing 30% of the GDP. That was the last year's, the budget shows that. So it's a very large market and very promising market. So as Archana was mentioning earlier in questions, so we all are bankers basically, the founders as well as the first line managers. So they have seen this as an opportunity where we was thinking that let's start a business with a purpose-led banking. So when we are talking about a purpose-led banking, that means we are focusing the entrepreneurs who are basically a woman-driven. And also who are actually providing the employment generations. So that is our ethos. So we always been look at the market and segments in MSME especially in cluster-based approach. So we are providing the machinery loans. So why? Because this machinery is basically OEM products, which is providing to the large machinery. So you can buy a car, maybe of a Mahindra or Tata or maybe Volkswagen, but the parts of those cars actually prepared by these MSMEs, small MSME. So you are actually being financing in the segment which has actually been robust in your entire ecosystem. So these are the, I may not say it is an informal segment, these are the formal segment, but they need some supports. The reach is one of the area. So we have developed our credit models, we have developed our, own PD, where we have actually reached to the market, understand the markets, and design our credit modeling. It is not basically, you can say, a scorecard base or something kind of thing. We actually understand the business, we understand their cash flows, and based on that, we actually design our credit model. And based on that, the lending was there.
Okay.
So this is what actually the core of our things.
Okay. Okay.
Taking Taposh's point forward, I would just like to mention, like, any of our RMs you pick up and ask them what is your case details, how much creditors, how much, this in the market, what's the order, what's the process, how much time it takes from a raw material to a finished stage, they would probably have answers for everything. So that's the beauty, because we, like he said, it's a purpose-based lending. And that is why it's important to understand that segment very well.
True.
So it's a very knowledge-based thing. It's just not going to a customer and just telling them, okay, we have loan and you need loan, can you,
It's not just a transaction
it's
that you're
not just a transaction. There's a lot of consultative approach, I would say, that is being put on the grounds also, and that's what we all are taught to do,
That's really nice. So when you started off, you said even the vision statement itself is that you are an impact-focused NBFC, right? But if you look at the TG, while you said it's not informal, but some of them may not even be visible to the formal banking system, or the formal banking system would probably look at it more like a transaction, right? Vis-a-vis the consultative approach that you spoke about. So could you share some stories, or that best illustrate the impact which Svakarma has been able to do to these communities?
Sure. So I would not take the names, but we have one customer in Kolhapur. I think during COVID we lent about 2 lakhs first. That was the first loan. Over these years, this is the 5th time we are lending, and there has been a 55% turnover growth in that MSME business. So we're tracking all this, because first time loan we do take the banking, and the 5th time loan also we do follow the process. So that's how we could kind of map what's the impact that has happened. So that's one, I would say, in a retail space that we have done. The second one I would want to speak about a very interesting case, which is a single woman and a daughter running Atta Chakki business, basically.
Wow.
So we are also present in the RTS segment, that is the rooftop solar. Values is sustainability.
Okay.
So we are present in this space, and very passionately, I would say, we drive it. So this girl, female, has been a part of the lending space, and we have lent them to improve, their basically working conditions, because they have increased whatever expenses because of them, electricity bill and all that, and then that was assessed, and because the woman and the applicant and the co-applicant is both female, aisa bahut rarely hota hai. So
Yes.
And this customer is actually very rare, from, I think it's from 200 kilometers from Ayodhya city.
Okay.
So it's a very, village kind of thing, the small atta chakki, that is their livelihood, whatever they are milling those things and everything. And they are running this business entirely on diesel equipment. So diesel is very costly.
Correct.
And when we approached them and we said that, okay, this is a segment, if you have implement this will reduce your operating cost. So automatically your livelihood will improve because you have more cash flow. You can invest on education of the daughter and everything. Correct.
True.
So those are basically, so this is actually the purpose based and impact based lending.
We really wanting to create an impact and also kind of measure it.
And I think more so when it comes to funding or lending loans for the women entrepreneurs, I think globally also there are proven cases where it not just develops in the long run from that standpoint. So the examples that you spoke about, Taposh, I wanted to check with you. We are talking about the Bharat versus India, that conversation that keeps happening. And a lot of these cases stories that you're talking about is predominantly the Bharat that we are looking at, right? And Bharat is going through a lot of digital transformation also. A lot of it is becoming a case study for the world to kind of adapt, right? Maybe the Aadhaar or UPI or all these things. So in this entire digital transformation journey, SignDesk has been fortunate to be a partner with you on this journey, right? So how have the SignDesk solutions actually helped you to improve the overall customer experience and improve the operational efficiency in your space?
So it's basically it's change, I would say. I'll tell you the traditional banking when we started. The one of the questions was asked always been that the customer has to sign a multiple documents.
Correct.
50 page, 60 page document, I have to sign it.
Yes.
How do I, if I'm taking a loan, I have to sign a 100-page document.
Yes.
So when I joined this organization, my chairman Vivek, I remember his word. He was saying that, Taposh, you have to do something so that I can give my customer assurance that he has not to sign the 100-page document. And since then, my journey was started the finding the solutions and all. And SignDesk is one of the partner. I would say thank you to SignDesk that who has associated with us, and they provide this solution. So this has not only we have reduced the number of pages, but also it has given a delightness in the customer. So earlier what happened that you have to take a printout, you have to fill it, you have to go to the customer. Right now what happened that we have built it through API. The format has already been designed. The data has already been in the system. It's immediately post-sanction if customer said, okay, you digitally also, like from here also, I can send the document through a API to customer mobile. He can open through Aadhaar, OTP or for bank account. He can authorize that document and it has been completed. So that speed, the earlier it was a TAT of 6 to 7 days has reduced to minutes. That itself actually changed the entire thing. And I'm agree with you that the Bharat and India, what we are doing, where actually SignDesk is providing a major role. Because I can foresee in next another 5 to 10 years, the traditional banking will be removed. All that things, the way the government has been focusing, the ecosystem has been preparing, I think SignDesk will definitely get a major space and be major partner for any kind of these kind of a solution, because you already build in that solution and steps. So I would actually say thank you, especially because our customer and our management and our frontline sales team, they are very happy on that. The adoption of SignDesk is 99% in our system. So that is what it is, the adoption is. And without being any special training, any special focus, because this was so easily they have adopted and accepted it.
This was an ask from them, and I kind of completely support this because I was a branch manager for 8 months, and the process that he's talking about, actually taking signatures, I've done it with customers, taking such big lot in the rains, it should not get wet, all those documents, sitting at the customer, finding that time, asking the co-applicant also to be like, present there, and then getting those signs. So I've gone through that pain. Taposh, I just wish that time you did have.
You should thanks to SignDesk because they have to provide that
actually,
solution.
No, so that's where we've also been constantly looking at what's next,
correct.
Because the digital transformation is happening at such a fast pace. So we also need to keep looking at saying what do we bring next, which brings that customer delight and operational efficiency. And we've recently launched a platform called Melento as well, which is an AI driven platform. So it's the world's first collaborative intelligence platform that we call. So it can integrate multiple workflows, multiple systems, everything into one, have the AI layer, so which will kind of make the life even more easier for people while not compromising on the security aspects of it as well.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey, and I think we feel really nice when we see the actual impact it's helped our customers deliver. So carrying on that, financial products also, right? So Taposh, financial products often fail due to poor contextualization also sometimes. So how does Svakarma actually ensure that your credit offerings actually resonate with your customers' real needs, their repayment cycles, and all that?
So here I would actually take an example. So recently Archana was explaining you about the customer of Rooftop solar loans, right? So we have recently opened that particular product, and in this particular product, when we was started, we were very new in the market. There are not a much player. There are few players are there, but they are large, Tata and ICICI. They are on residential, urban cities and all. So we have actually tied with. We went to a market. So we have our one colleague, Meenal Jaising. She was actually looking after the business side of this RTS program, and she went there, and we have discussed with Smart Power. So there is one company called now it has been changed as GAP, GAPP app. It is, I think, World Bank related things, and they are doing some program with Government of India. So we interact with them, we understand the market, we understand the nuances of that machine funding, because they're new for us, because there are some security aspects on that. So we understand the entire thing. They introduce us to some other partner like IDAM and all. They are doing a collateral, and they are also building this ecosystem. So we gather the entire information and everything. We do a proper market search. We get a data on that. And based on that, then we have start touching base. So we done a pilot in first is a Banaras, which is now is a very famous. So our Prime Minister's constituency. So we started with Banaras. That was the first pilot run, and then we spread across. I think now we are present in almost 11 cities of UP, Bihar, and Jharkhand. And it is well accepted product, and I'm telling you, my competitors like other NBFCs also came to us and said that you also train us. What you have done? So when we have went to a market, and they were saying, oh, Svakarma is already there in this market. So that is how we are being. So we are being first. It's a knowledge-led business. So we first gather the knowledge of the product, understand the business segment, understand their cash flows, understand their the invoicing and their customers and the entire geography, and based on that we are creating this entire credit model. So we are not a traditional credit model. It is a purpose-led cash flow based model where we are looking the banking also, banking and GST, those things, the traditional people. But our main focus is that we have to check that how the cash flow is been coming to the customers, and whether this financing will help us to improve his livelihood or his business.
Okay. So we were talking about how technology is also evolving so much as we speak. So how do you view the role of technology in actually helping Svakarma to further scale the impact? Because you've been doing some great work. So how do you see it, scaling that impact, especially in non-urban areas? So where this access to technology, or maybe the digital literacy also may not be to that extent.
Yeah, it's a very good question, because we also feel that initially when we went to the market, so one of the reason of diversity of the India, because different states have a different language, and you may not have to understand the entire 26 language.
True.
So English and Hindi, that is the common language, maybe not applicable for Tamil Nadu or Kerala, kind of thing. So that was the first challenge came up to us, and I think the technology is one thing which actually give us the entire spectrum of this segment. But as a Svakarma, our main model of technology is phygital model. We always been believed that the customer touch point is always been. We are not a fintech company. So customer touch point will be always a physical. As we discussed that we are focusing more on PD, physical PD by RM and credit manager to understand his cash flows and everything. But the entire post journey of the customer, from onboarding to servicing to the closure, is a technology driven. So if you're talking about the due diligence part during the onboarding process, like KYC or documentations completions or any kind of a bureau checking and other data phase, that is a technology driven. Similarly, if you want to build it post disbursement, like you want to do some kind of remote monitoring systems, and also we have to check the credit assessment or maybe security. So we are not actually a security led business. So our thing is that we also do, I think we are the first person we are doing that on partial security based lending also.
Okay.
Correct. So we are not like that you give me 100 crore rupees security, I'll give you 70 rupees of loan. We believe first that what is your need of the loan. So if you have a need 100 of loan, we will give you 100 rupees loan. If you are available with multiple security, whatever, like insurance products or maybe of your machinery or your property, we took that as a mortgage with us. That may be valued of around 50, 60 rupees, 70 rupees. So we are okay with that also, because the model is to this entire security as a for moral suasion. It is not the security based lending.
Okay.
So that is the space we are working. And I think in this space, technology will give an edge onto it in terms of your fulfillment of the security, fulfillment of the due diligence, and your service. Because technology will always make one step ahead on that. So I feel this is one of the important thing for our journey.
Okay.
So just adding on to what Taposh has said, what Taposh is working on towards journey is that facilitating the last mile people so well that eventually they don't even have to ask or come back for anything to the office, and we try and finish everything, or at least the basic assessment and the document collection, etc. Everything at the first mile interaction. So that's what Taposh's technology team is aiming at. And I'm sure that will happen, because I just told you the story that I was there. That was just about 3-4 years back. So I'm sure next 3-4 years we are going to be.
Yeah, maybe in the next episode when I'm talking to both of you, you're way ahead, and there's a lot more successful and impactful stories that you guys have to share. So my last question to both of you is, as India is pushing more towards financial inclusion, so where do you see Svakarma's mission aligning with the overall national goals, and what are your, if you have few asks from the regulators or the government, what would that be?
So, I think we are actually a main player, because right now India is moving towards, as I told you, the Make in India, and we are expanding. So we are been financing in machinery finance, small machinery players, small manufacturers. So this will actually converting more and more, financial as well as the knowledge growth to this segment. Right? So we will definitely grow in terms of geography, in terms of the product. As I told you, recently we launched RTS. Now we are launching the micro lab in this segment, because many of these customers are basically having their invest more of money in their properties, because this is that segment. Their property is available.
Correct.
So based on those properties, they can get their finance, and then they can grow their business. So that is definitely will continue. We continue to do a purpose-led banking. We are not going towards a security-based lending or something. So that is one thing. We work on employment generations, because we were always thinking that how, if I have invested some money in some business, how many employment has been generated. The woman-led entrepreneur is one of the focus area. We always believe.
We also have a Damini scheme, by the way, if you see our website.
So we give 1% benefit also that. So that woman-led business we wanted to continue, and definitely currently we are working. I think in the 5 states. Gradually we'll improve more and more, and pan-India presence on this segment. So one is the horizontal things, the state and geographies and everything. And another is the vertical thing, that bringing more products, more segment, understand the customer needs, and based on that, the customized product we can provide to this customers. But we will continue to focus only in MSME segment. So that is the main area where we are actually contributing to the overall goal.
Okay.
So interestingly, this is a very beautiful thing which I get to use in my trainings. So it's a onboarding training. The one thing that I tell all these people, that y'all are part of GDP creation for the country.
Correct.
So what y'all are doing is not just selling loans,
Correct.
y'all are actually generating employment for people.
Correct.
Now how do you do that? You lend for one machine, the person has already one machine, he has 2 people working, and then the new machine comes, he will need an additional manpower, right? So that person ka family is being run, somewhere you are helping employment generation and livelihood improvement. So that just gives some, vision to them. Are we doing something so good and big? So
I think that makes a lot of difference, right? When you know that finally what you're doing is making an impact to somebody, which they can think of on a day-to-day basis. That feeling is itself very different. So thank you both of you for sharing the journey of Svakarma and the impact that you and the team has been delivering on the grassroots level. More power to Svakarma, and looking forward to far more impactful stories coming in Bharat. Thank you once
Definitely.
again for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you
thank
so
you for
much.
being such a wonderful partner to
My
us.
pleasure talking to both of you.
Thank you.
So there you heard another impactful story of Svakarma, another impactful story of what digital transformation can do in this space of contract management itself. So stay tuned to more such impact stories coming your way. I'm your host, Karthik Nagendra, signing off. Thank you.